Hello students, welcome back to your history class. Last class I asked you to write down the question number 12 and keep ready. We'll talk about the merits and demerits of the medieval monasteries in Europe. Here we've been clearly told to write 2-2. Remember, this is a 4-mark question. You have to write at least 100 words. Very, very important because that's one thing I saw you all did not follow in your unit test. Make sure you follow it in your terminals, otherwise I will deduct marks. I'm going to do strict checking this time. Okay. There is no denying the fact that the medieval monasteries did many useful works and it had many merits. As discussed, monasteries were the only centers of learning during the medieval period, number one. Number two, the monks residing in the monasteries led a very pious life and they served the people like a nurse or a foster mother. So these were the two advantages. Now we talk about disadvantages. With the passage of time, these monasteries developed certain demerits. Soon the monasteries began to acquire lands and lots of wealth. Within no time, they became seats of exploitation rather than of service. In the beginning, the monks led a pious life, but with the passage of time, they began to lead a scandalous life and monastery became a seat of corruption. So these are the two disadvantages or demerits. Question number 13. What do you mean by crusades and list 3 results on the European life? How did crusades, 3 results of crusades on European life? Now you can write either positive results or negative results, your choice. The crusades were the holy wars fought between the Christians and the Muslims during the Middle Ages over the control of Jerusalem. These religious wars produced far-reaching effects. In negative effects, you can write that the crusades were fought for about 2 centuries and there was very little interval between them. In these wars, thousands lost their lives. Another one is the weakness of church was exposed and a severe blow was given to the power and prestige of the papacy. If you look at the positive results, the Crusades helped in the development of Europe in culture and civilization. The Europeans enriched their knowledge in almost all the fields. Crusades led to the increase in trade between the East and the West. And the Europeans came to know many new articles of daily use, such as silk, muslin, cotton, sugar, glasswares, spices, and medicine. The Crusades encouraged the spirit of adventure and geographical exploration. Various new lands like America were discovered. A new route to India was also discovered as a result of the spirit of adventure promoted by the Crusades. Okay, so these were the 2. So out of these, you can write any. Next, imagine and describe a day in the life of craftsmen in the medieval French town. Now in this also, most of the time students, whatever you have learned, you have to write the same thing with a different point of view. So, during the medieval period, majority of people lived in villages in France and cultivated the land given to them by the ruler and feudal lords. Out of these peasants, many of them were bound to the land and to serve their masters as they were their slaves. They did not get any wages from their lords and they survived on petty food which their lords gave them. I'm giving you a background over here. Huh? With the passage of time, many cities began to spring up as trade centers, religious places, and administrative units. Many craftsmen began to settle here. A craftsman can be a technician, a carpenter, a cloth weaver, a tanner, a manufacturer of weapons, pottery, or brewing, anything. Any craftsman, for instance, a mason, could enjoy the free and open atmosphere of the city. At these places, the lords had to pay some taxes where the cities had to grow. They could neither enjoy the services of people free of charge, nor could they get begar. A craftsman got remuneration for his day's labor and enjoyed his life. He could walk and do his work freely. He was an important member of his crafts guild, like any other craftsman who were always ready to guard his interest. So, on this background, you have to do this on your own. You have to become a craftsman and write a day in your life in the medieval French town. Now, this is very interesting. To compare the condition of life of a French serf and a Roman slave. Okay, now, in both the lives, exploitation was the most predominant factor. There were certain minor differences in the pattern of life, like in the condition of life of a French serf. The serf in France were the lowest category of peasants. They were the most numerous in the feudal society. They suffered many restrictions. They had been granted some land from their lords, yet they were so tied to the land that they could not change their masters until the land changed hands. They had not only to work on the fields of their lords and give them a part of the produce, but also to perform such petty jobs such as building, repairing, making roads, etc. And they couldn't not ask any payment in return of these services. So these services were like forced labor, and they had to do it forcibly without any payment. But if you look at the life of a Roman slave, the Roman society suffered from various social defects, and the chief one of it was the evil of slavery. The Romans kept a large number of slaves, and they were not well treated. They had to work day in and day out, but they were deprived of all the social and political rights. All sorts of work were taken from them, even if they were treated like animals. Sometimes they were put before the wild animals for mere fun's sake. These slaves hated their masters like anything, both these slaves, even the serfs. When, with the passage of time, they found their masters in difficulty and they created many problems for the Republic. Whenever they found their masters quarreling amongst themselves or engaged in fights with foreign powers, they raised a revolt and posed great many problems for the Romans. These revolts proved a major cause for the downfall of the Roman Empire. All right. So this question can also be asked in a way that if you were to select between the life of a French serf and a Roman slave, what would you select and why? So you have to be able to understand these conditions very well. All right. All right. Okay, so now these questions, I'm going to do only one question with you all today. Merits of feudalism is your homework. You will do it and we will discuss it in the next video. We're going to talk about the chief features of feudalism, and this time I'm going to pen down the features so that you all can make notes of it. Okay, so recount the chief features of feudalism is your question. So you can even, the question can also come in different way that, you know, what was the structure of feudalism, what are the chief characteristics of feudalism. You have to be able to answer all these, okay? So I'm writing down the points and then I will read them out. King was the owner of the land. Don't start writing till I start explaining. Just pay attention, understand the concept. So these are the 9 points that we will talk about in this question. Whenever these questions come, long answers, these are for 8 marks. You have to write this very neatly in your Fullscape sheets and scan it very clearly. I could not read some of y'all. I had to zoom in and see. It was very difficult. Please use a nice scanner. You can use your mobile phone scanners, CamScan, Office Lens, or any other scanning app that you have. Nicely scan it, make it, click a nice resolution picture if you're clicking an image so that I can read it clearly. And when you're writing, please write it neatly. Write on a Fullscape page your name, roll number, standard question number clearly seen, and write only in blue pen. Black is not allowed. And when you're writing, write your points, underline the main points, even in the sub points, underline the main points so that when I'm reading, I am able to understand your point of view. Okay, please write neatly, leave some space between 2 points, make the answer very presentable. You all are doing a very shabby job. You all know your work, but you all are still doing a shabby job. Please work on your presentation skills. Okay. Okay. So the chief features of feudalism, or the organizational structure of the feudalism, is number 1, the king was considered to be the lord of the whole land of the kingdom. He kept some land with him, known as crown land, and he distributed the rest amongst his nobles, whom he called. He distributed the rest amongst his nobles, called the vassals. So these nobles were called vassals. The vassals were absolute lords of their territory, or fiefs. Okay. Next is tenants in chief. The nobles, or the tenants in chief, distributed the land granted to them by king to smaller lords known as subtenants. Hence, the tenants in chief had their own vassals. Now, subtenants and serfs. The subtenants further gave the land to peasants for farming. These peasants were known as serfs or villeins. They were forced to work on their lands and pay a greater share of their produce to them. The serfs were almost tied to their lands and they lived like slaves at the mercy of the landlords. They could not leave their masters without their sweet will, and they even had to secure permission of their lord for the marriage of their daughters. Landlord was the master of the mind and body of the serfs. Okay, now we talk about the free man. This category consisted of merchants, traders, artisans, professionals, soldiers, etc., who were without any obligations to the feudal lords. Now, the oath of allegiance and investiture. Both the lord and the vassals had to take an oath of allegiance. The ceremony of becoming a vassal was very impressive. The man who was to become the vassal came to the castle of the lord, knelt before him, placed his hands in the hands of the lord, and declared himself the lord's man for a certain fief. This vassal ceremony was called the homage. Then the vassal placed his hands on the Bible and took an oath of allegiance to the Lord. The Lord then handed over the fief to the vassal. So there was this entire ceremony that had to take place, which is called the homage. You explain that in this. Next is the duties of the tenants. The vassals had to pay many taxes to his lord. He paid money to the lord when his eldest son was knighted or when his eldest daughter was married. He also had to pay for the release of his master when he was captured. He had to render military service to his master and to attend the court whenever he was asked to do so by him. The disputes between the tenants were decided by their own respective lords. Next is duties of the feudal lord. The feudal lord had also to perform various duties. He had to maintain the police force and the armed force. He had to build castles to protect the life of his tenants. He had to decide their cases and to punish the guilty. He also rendered military service to the king in times of war and promoted agriculture, industry, and commerce in his estate. The feudal army. There was no permanent military force with the king to raise an army. He had to summon the feudal lords. They in turn called on to their vassals and so on. The feudal army consisted of lords and their mounted warriors called the knights. The feudal army was very showy but inefficient. There was no discipline in it. Warfare was the general rule, so personal bravery and skill were highly valued. The knights who showed chivalry in the battlefield received great honor. Lack of uniformity. There was no uniformity in the feudal system in the Western Europe in the Middle Ages. Its form and working differed from place to place and from country to country. Will Durant had said that the basic principle of feudalism was mutual fealty, that is, mutually fidelity. The economic and the military obligation of the vassal to the lord, of lord to the superior lord, of superior lord to the king, of king to the superior lord, of superior lord to the lord, and of lord to the vassal. Okay, so with this we end this question. Next class we will do the next question that we have. Somehow my face keeps popping up. Okay. Next class we will do the different merits of feudalism. We've just done the features. Now we're going to talk about the merits. I hope you all are noting these things down. These are very important. All right. So with this, I end today's class. Stay home, stay safe, take care, and keep learning. Thank you.